You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Yankees made some roster moves. Minor. But we're getting to the point now in spring training where they're starting to shape that roster because we're getting closer and closer to opening day. How should we react to spring performances? I have some thoughts. And we're recapping the weekend, so let's get into recapping the weekend. Friday night, Gerrit Cole makes his spring training debut. It was lackluster, but it's Gerrit Cole. This goes hand in hand with what I want to discuss in segment 2. Don't worry about Gerrit Cole. He's fine. 2 innings pitched, 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 strikeout, 1 home run that Gerrit Cole did not appreciate because Daniel Vogelbach, who's now with the Blue Jays, was showboating a little bit, but I think that's just hilarious that Gerrit Cole, who has Juan Soto on his team, is talking about someone else showboating. I don't mind showboating. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I don't mind it. And, if you give up a home run like that, even if it's spring training, just take it, I guess. But don't panic about his performance. He's fine. Juan Soto had a double on Friday night. We'll talk about his spring training numbers more in a moment because he had more numbers on Sunday. But Cole said this about Soto, which I love. I love this so much. He said, I knew I would enjoy watching him, but I love watching him. We all do too, Gerrit. We're all feeling it, right? You guys are with me on this because I am really enjoying Juan Soto in a Yankee uniform bashing the ball. Again, we'll talk about that in a bit. Yankees won that game 8-4 against the Blue Jays. Rizzo had a couple of hits. He was 2 for 2 with a walk. Rizzo's looking a lot better. We'll talk about that in a second as well. But yeah, don't worry about Cole. He's fine. It's just his first outing. He's tinkering with some things and he probably wasn't happy about Alek Manoah talking smack about him, and he ended up winning a unanimous Cy Young. So maybe the Daniel Vogelbach showboating will make him win another Cy Young because he's mad. Hey, whatever works, I guess, right? Saturday, Marcus Stroman pitched against the Orioles, 4 innings of work, only 2 hits. No runs, no walks, struck out 3, looked good. I was able to watch the game on Masson. I don't know how that was possible, but I was able to do it. I'm not sure who was in the booth for Masson, but they mentioned the short porch about 4 times. 4 times. Okay. Everyone's so obsessed with the short porch at Yankee Stadium. The stadium's been open 15 years, guys. We know it's there. The opposing hitters also hit home runs into the short porch. So I don't know. It's just at this point, it's annoying to hear those 2 words. And you don't have to keep mentioning it. Anyway, Anthony Volpe picked up 2 hits because he hit. His spring training numbers are good. Yes, it's small sample size, but it's good to see him hitting the ball better. And I know you're probably thinking, Stace, Anthony Volpe did well in spring training in 2023, which is why he was chosen to be the starting shortstop over Oswald Peraza. And yes, I know that, but I think it's important for someone to come back from a season that wasn't what they had hoped it would be. And when I say that, I mean, yes, he got 20 home runs, which is great. And yes, he got a bunch of stolen bases, but his average was abysmal. Anthony Volpe will tell you that it was abysmal and he wants to do better. So for him to come out in spring training and start off by doing well is a good sign. And again, we will get more into this in segment 2. The Yankees lost that game to the Orioles. Again, it wasn't Marcus Stroman's fault. And it started happening in the later innings when guys you've never heard of come into the game. It's perfectly fine. Sunday's game, Nestor Cortes. This is a guy you need to keep an eye on for the spring simply because of what happened to him last year with his injury. 4 innings, just like Stroman, 1 earned run, and it was a home run. So he only gave up a hit and an earned run on the home run. Andy Ibanez got him there. He walked 1, struck out 3. He spoke with Meredith Marakovitz after the game, said he felt good, but he also stressed that they'll have to wait until Monday morning to see how he feels. But he also reiterated how he was feeling immediately sore after outings last season, and he's not feeling that so far. He even went so far to say that he was even having trouble changing his shirts last year, which is, or even just putting a shirt over himself. If you're not watching this, I'm trying to demonstrate how you put on a shirt. YouTubers, or the YouTube watchers, you're welcome. So we'll wait until Monday to see how he feels, but so far so good. He looked good, throwing that high fastball and getting guys to chase after pitches. And the home run came off a sweeper. It was like 76 miles an hour. So it was not a high fastball. It was a sweeper. And Ibanez just crushed it. Juan Soto hit another home run. And I had mentioned this earlier. We're going to talk about those spring numbers now. So far in spring, 5 for 7 with 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 7 runs driven in, 5 runs scored, 2 walks in 4 games. I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying watching Juan Soto. I especially enjoy watching Juan Soto in Yankees full pinstripes, because sometimes they wear the navy tops and the pinstripe pants, but on Sunday they wore the full regular uniform, and it is just a lot of fun watching Juan Soto play. And Mash and Hal back up the Brinks truck. Back it up right now. I don't care. Pay him $1 million. I don't care. And I know that Soto will want to explore free agency, but I don't want the Yankees to have another free agency where they say, we tried. We gave him our best offer. No. You're going to have to outbid Steve Cohen. I don't care how much over the luxury tax you're going. You have plenty of money, Hal. Just pay the man. Pay him whatever he wants for however long he wants. This is a generational player. He is amazing. And yes, I know it's only spring, but he's going to be doing this stuff in the regular season. He's been doing it for years, and it is so much fun watching him, and I can't wait to watch him in the regular season. Carlos Rodon gave up 3 home runs in live batting practice, but don't panic. He's working on stuff. I'm not worried about that. There are certain things you can overreact to in spring training, which we'll talk about in segment 2, and there are certain things that you don't need to overreact to. I feel like with Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortes, just worry about their health first, and then worry about the performance. If we're getting closer and closer to opening day, you don't have to worry about Nestor. He did well on Sunday. But if we're getting closer and closer to opening day and Rodon is giving up 3 home runs in every outing, then you can worry. But until that happens, which hopefully it won't, just worry about the health of these guys. So we're going to get into that in segment 2. But before that, don't forget, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Friday on YouTube. If you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday, I'm still doing Fan Mail Friday. So leave questions below. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get texts from me, roster moves, and you can text me if you want to. Just be nice. There's a 14-day free trial. Doesn't cost you anything to sign up, and you can unsubscribe if you want to. But yeah, you'll get roster moves. I will text you guys once the regular season starts. If I have any thoughts during the games, I'll text them out, but I will not inundate your inbox. So don't worry about that. Again, 14-day free trial, link in the description. So coming up next, reacting to spring games, when to panic and when not to panic. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. And by the way, in those parlays, you can bet on someone to score 10, 20, or even 30-plus points in the game. With the quick bets, you can bet on who will score the first bucket And by what method? Will it be a three-pointer? Will it be a layup? There are so many possibilities. And because we're a baseball podcast, your 2024 Yankees are the favorites to win the American League East, and Aaron Judge is leading the regular season home run leaderboard just ahead of Matt Olson of the Braves. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Welcome back. After you're done here, make sure to watch Locked On Sports Today. It's the Locked On Network's 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and it's pretty cool. You can put it on and watch other Locked On podcasts while you work, while you clean up around the house, while you walk on a treadmill. You do whatever you want while you're watching it. That's Locked On Sports Today, streaming 24/7 on YouTube. Okay, so what do I mean by spring training overreactions? Well, as I joke on the show, and as I used to joke with my former producer, Steve Granato, we're both online, so we see a lot of stuff, and I see a lot of stuff on Twitter. And I just find it amazing that some people still overreact to spring training. And what I mean by that, they overreact to scores. The Yankees lost to the Orioles on Saturday. They lost to the Tigers on Sunday. Who cares? It's spring training. Those games don't count towards their record. That doesn't mean anything. Like the end result, the final score doesn't matter. There are some things within that box score that you should be concerned about, and we'll talk about some of those things that you should be concerned about. I feel like there are some players who you shouldn't even bother worrying about results. You should really worry about health first, because these are guys who are going to be on the team no matter what. Your Aaron Judges, your Gerrit Coles, your Gleyber Torreses, those guys, your Juan Sotos. Make sure they're healthy, unless Cole starts giving up, a home run every spring training game, then maybe get concerned. But right now, don't be concerned with someone like Gerrit Cole. But there are some guys that you should be concerned about when you watch their performances in spring. And these are guys who are fringe guys who are fighting for a roster spot, guys who may have been on the team but were sent down to AAA and are fighting their way back to try and make it to the big club again. Specifically, I would like to talk about Ron Marinaccio. He had a rough Sunday. If you watched Sunday's game, it was on Yes. He didn't even record an out. He gave up 4 runs on 2 hits with 3 walks, didn't strike out a batter. He just looked not great. That's the kind of guy that you can have a visceral reaction to. You can be worried about Ron Marinaccio. For him, because the Yankees can always send him down to AAA. He can always work on stuff. But it is worrisome to see a guy like Marinaccio, who was falling apart later in the year, which is why they sent him down to AAA, and to see him come into spring training not looking any better. But then there's the other side of this, where I saw someone declare his career over, which it's a little premature to say that. If these sort of performances continue, maybe. But right now, his career is not over yet. So let's not go that far. If you're worried about Caleb Ferguson, 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Not terrible. The 2 runs isn't great, but not terrible. The Yankees traded for him for a reason. He's going to be in the bullpen. He's one of those guys he's pretty much guaranteed a spot. But Marinaccio is not. He's not. Other guys that you should worry about, Rizzo, just because of how he performed last year, but so far so good. He's looking a lot better. He's saying that he's seeing the ball better, and from what I've seen so far of him at the plate, he's seeing the ball better. I mean, he had 2 home runs the other night. DJ LeMahieu, keep an eye on him, how he's doing at the plate, simply because of how up and down last year was. Giancarlo Stanton also. Now, Stanton is one of those guys where you have to worry about his health and his performance, which is kind of, that falls in line with Nestor and Rodon. And we've talked about this many times on the show. Nestor and Rodon are keys because the Yankees cannot have their rotation fall apart. Those 2 guys are really big and need to do well and be healthy. Giancarlo Stanton, you would like for him to be healthy. You would like for him to hit 40 home runs. You would like for a lot of things from him. But I feel like now that the Yankees have more depth in the lineup, it's not as crucial for him. I feel like the pressure's been taken off him. And I almost feel like any improvement that he makes will be positive. And I almost wish that he was going into spring training, and I almost feel like he is in a way, because some people are just not expecting anything from him because of how bad his 2023 is. And I feel like it'll be a bonus if he starts to do well. He's making contact with the ball. He is getting on base occasionally. I saw him go first to third on like a pop-up the other day, which I couldn't believe, because if you watched Giancarlo Stanton in 2023, the man could not run. He couldn't run. He could hit a ball 600 feet and be thrown out at second base. That's how bad he was looking running the bases. So that part of his game looks better. So with him, it's health and results. I hope this is making sense. I just feel like there are certain people who overreact to spring training games, and it just cracks me up when I see it, because I've been watching baseball for so long, and you're overreacting. I feel like some people are overreacting to the wrong things. Like, don't be mad that the Yankees lost. What was it, 7-2 to the Tigers today? I think it was 7-2. Let me just double check on my trusty computer. Yeah, they lost 7-2. And I believe most of those runs occurred later in the game. Yeah, Tigers scored 4 runs in that 8th inning. Yeah, so they lost 7-2 to the Tigers, and I feel like people were overreacting to that. But don't overreact to that sort of thing, because all the runs happened later in the game. Marinaccio played a big role in that. So again, you can react to Marinaccio and not having a good game, because again, this is really big for him, and he needs to do better, or else he's going to start at AAA and, might remain down there. But don't be mad at the end result, because as long as it's not one of the guys who's permanently on the roster giving up 4 runs without recording an out, it's fine. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that doesn't sound condescending. It's just funny to me when people overreact to spring training. It's been happening forever, and it'll happen forever. But it's just amusing to watch. If you're not on Twitter, you should go on Yankees Twitter and see how some people react. And there are some people who are doing it in a joking way, and you can tell, but there are other people who are earnest about it, and it's just amusing to watch that sort of thing. So again, there are certain guys to keep an eye on, and at this point, most of you know who those guys are, but don't worry about the final scores. If the main guys aren't the reason why those final scores are bad, it's fine. It's spring training. Coming up next, some roster moves, because we're getting closer and closer to opening day. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. And the Yankees will be facing an old friend in Mexico City. It's coming up next. If you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out the app Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. There's no regular season baseball for a few more weeks, but hockey and basketball are in full swing. I used Game Time to look for Duran Duran tickets. They're my favorite band of all time. They were playing at a place that I've never been to, Forest Hills Stadium in Queens, New York, and it was great because you click on the app, you see where the tickets are, and you can see your view of the stage. It's one of my favorite features on Game Time. You can find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back. The Yankees made some roster moves, and we're going to discuss them because we're getting to that point now where the roster takes shape, because we're getting closer and closer to opening day, and these are minor moves, literally. Prior to Sunday's game, Luis Gil and Yuendrys Gomez were optioned to AAA Scranton, both right-hand pitchers. And The Yankees reassigned right-hander Chase Hampton and right-hander Art Warren to minor league camp, not to be confused with Will Warren. And then following Sunday's game, they reassigned catchers Josh Breaux and Ben Rice, along with right-hander Joey Gerber, to minor league camp. Gerber pitched in Sunday's game. And additionally, the Yankees outrighted infielder Jordan Groshans off the major league roster onto the roster of AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. So those are the moves that are made. You're going to see more of these coming up in the next few days and over the next couple of weeks, because again, we're getting closer and closer to opening day. We're fewer than 25 days away. We're almost there. It's March 4th. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. And speaking of the end of March, when the Yankees play the Diablos Rojos, Red Devils, in Mexico City at the end of the month, just before opening day, they're going to face an old friend because Robinson Cano signed with the Diablos Rojos. 41-year-old Robinson Cano. Yeah, that's kind of amazing. So Cano has been a free agent since August 2022. His mega contract that he signed ran through 2023, meaning he could have been signed for the league minimum last year, with the Mets being on the hook for the remaining part of that contract, but no club decided to sign him. This is per trade rumors, Major League or MLB trade rumors. And they added in the article, that's not terribly surprising considering his age, the PED suspensions, and his 150, 183, 190 line in limited playing time in 2022. But he hasn't totally been out of action. He's played in the Dominican Winter League, and he played for Team DR in the World Baseball Classic last season. So it'll be interesting to see 41-year-old Robinson Cano playing against the Yankees in Mexico City. It's a lot for Yankee fans of a certain age to think of Robinson Cano as 41, because we remember when he came up in May of 2005 as a 22-year-old young buck to help save the Yankees 2005 season along with Chien-Ming Wang. So yeah, it's a lot seeing Robinson Cano as a 41-year-old. It's also disappointing to see how his career turned out with the suspensions and, you know, the Yankees letting him go and signing Jacoby Ellsbury to that disastrous contract. But it turns out Cano's contract wasn't that great either. But yeah, I don't know. Weighing the two, I feel like I would have preferred to have Robinson Cano instead of Jacoby Ellsbury. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I know I shouldn't mention Jacoby Ellsbury. It's like mentioning Voldemort at this point, because no one wanted to sign Jacoby Ellsbury. Only Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner. No Yankee fan wanted Jacoby Ellsbury on the team, and for good reason, because it was a disastrous contract. So Robinson Cano playing with the Diablos Rojos. So that is it for Locked On Yankees. I want to thank you all for watching. Just give me a little bit of time to get used to hosting solo again. I hosted solo for so long, and then I got so used to having someone else with me that it feels very strange to not have someone with me. So give me like a week to get back into it, but we'll recap games. We'll talk about stories. You know, make sure you leave questions under the pinned comment on this video. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Fan Mail Friday. We will do Fan Mail Friday. If you are an insider, obviously, text me with any questions for Fan Mail Friday. And also, if you want to become an insider, there is a link in the description. 14-day free trial. You get texts from me about roster moves, thoughts about certain players, and much, much more. But I will not inundate your inbox. And that is it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and I will see you tomorrow.